And now for the coffee crop weather forecast, heading on into Brazil, the world's biggest coffee producer. Well, unfortunately, the droughts that we've seen, a record drought period of 7 years, are looking set to continue. No sign of the rain yet. Up to a fifth of the Arabica coffee bean production crop damaged because of these droughts. Wildfires and sporadic frosts also not helping. Like I said, looking like it's set to continue and damage the crop going through to 25 and 26. Now, heading off into Vietnam, the world's second biggest producer. Unfortunately, same sort of conditions. We've got droughts as well, also impacting heavily the crop there. So the weather report not looking good. But let's get serious now. It's also a factor, or many factors, that have sort of created perfect storm for the price of coffee over the next few years. Now, we saw cocoa beans in the last few years scaling new dizzy heights due to West African supply concerns, issues. There was still with the demand pulling from the rest of the world, and it's the same with coffee beans. Huge demand, especially from Asia, dragging what coffee crop there is out. And unfortunately, what is this going to mean for us? Well, it's probably going to mean higher prices, especially in the more commercial side of the coffee retail world. Another factor, Vietnam as well. They've switched to the world's smelliest fruit, the durian. Big demand there from China. They've slashed their coffee production. They specialise in the Robusta bean and focusing on there. So there's a real shortage out there of supply in the market as well. So we've got this perfect storm, like I say, of weather, market forces, a whole load of variables in there, supply and demand. It's just basic, simple economics, like I say, creating this perfect storm, and it's looking like it's going to impact prices going through to at least 2026. So what can you do about it? Well, you know, you might be paying more for your morning coffee over the next few years, but you can certainly jump in on the increase in these prices and trade the price of coffee. Like I said, Arabica and Robusta are the two main beans. And how can you do this? Well, very simply, you could first of all trade them on futures. That's where most of the coffee trading goes on. The two contracts, tickers KC and RB, on the ICE exchange, there for you to speculate with. And if you can't access futures markets, there's a lot of brokers now, especially in the retail world, that offer those markets to you. And it's the same in the world of CFDs as well. Huge market out there for coffee that you can get your hands on. And we've also got some other alternatives for you as well. ETFs. There's a couple of ETFs that you can see there. We've got two from iPath, the Bloomberg Coffee Sub-Index Total Return and the iPath Pure Beta Coffee ETN, both tracking the price of coffee. So, like I said, ETFs there. Or you could maybe trade the stocks. There are not many involved there that are on, publicly traded. A lot are privately held, like Louis Dreyfus, but one such one, Olam Group, OLG, I think they're on the Singapore exchange. Or maybe loosely related, the obvious coffee shop stocks, Starbucks, the Nestle's, you got JDEP there, the ticker. Their prices are probably going to go up because of these underlying issues, but whether they're going to see their stock prices rally because of this, maybe not. They're obviously going to have to push the the increase in the prices onto the consumer, but doesn't necessarily mean that their stock price would appreciate. So I'd look more at the futures, CFDs and ETFs if I was going to play the coffee price. So let's get into a bit more detail. First of all, just want to emphasize, showing you a slide of how important Vietnam and Brazil are to the world's coffee production. Then I'm going to get into some charts, technical analysis, and see where that price might be heading next. So just taking this slide from the US Department of Agriculture shows you quite clearly the key players in the coffee production market in the last year. And Brazil and Vietnam way above anybody else on the planet for production. Everything's done in 60 kg bags, and you can see Brazil 39%, Vietnam 17%, so well over half the world's coffee productions, Arabica, Robusta beans from those two countries. So they're critical to the supply chain, both from different ends of the world, but like I say, key players in the market. And like I said, the next few years, the weather and those other factors that we've looked at could be key to driving the prices higher, especially until 2026. So let's have a look at some technical analysis to see the charts and see where the price might be heading next. Let's start with some longer term perspective on the coffee price. Got a weekly chart here. The candlestick, the Heikin-Ashi candlestick, you can see there, that's for ticker KC. That's the Arabica bean. The orange line there is just the Robusta contract. Just wanted to show you how correlated it is to the Arabica bean, and they're the two main players in the market. But I'm going to focus on the ticker KC Arabica for this analysis. So on this chart, I've plotted on the all-time record highs. Now you can see them over there. We got in 1997, the price got up to around 318, 319, and then 1977 all-time highs around 339, 340, and we're already pushing on up to record recent highs around this 271, 272 area. And in terms of percentage increase, it's up nearly 90% since this low kicked in around the 144 mark, which was in October of 23. You can see quite a lot of support there for the price historically. I've also added volume as well by price, as you can see here, and these scoops of price action are often a clue for the key support and resistance areas. And you can see here, if we draw across there, the 61.8 line around 223 seems a good pullback to the price if it comes back in the shorter term. And then this, like I say, scoop down to the next key Fibonacci line at 192 is also a key critical area. You can see a lot of price action through that level. But we are thinking bullish. We're thinking the weather's going to kick in all those supply and demand issues. So what about to the upside? Well, you're going to have to get first of all to the 300 area. The Fibonacci lines I'm using here for future forward projections. And then, like I said, we've got 324, 350, and then really extreme conditions up to the 400 area. At the moment, momentum, like I said, all looking very positive. It's cracked through these highs that we saw back in January of 2022, and now we can see not a lot of volume over on that side of the action. So it's into nosebleed territory. Can it get to the 97 and 77 highs? Something else I like to look at is the forward futures curve of the market in question. That's the coffee futures. Now, what does that mean? Well, you remember there's a chain of futures contracts going out forward, so you could buy, for example, in 2026, Arabica coffee beans around 232 today, and you can buy them at the spot price, current price 251. So that means the curve there is in backwardation. that means it's cheaper to buy in the future. So it could be a possible strategy here where it's called spread trading, where you sell the front month down here because you either think the price is going to fall or it's not going to go up as quick as the back month, and you would buy maybe like the 26th or September, depending on your point of view, where you think the curve is going to move on up fast enough to outpace the front month and create, like I said, this spread play. But at the moment it's looking like the market's factoring in the price going down into the future, but this is a dynamic curve, always changing. So like I said, spread trade possibilities for you there. And what about in terms of seasonality and the current state of the coffee price? Well, on this chart here, I've looked back 20 years of historical data to create seasonality pattern. Down the bottom there, you can see the shape of the seasonality. Now currently we've been in this up run here on the bottom right, and you can see September a bit sluggish down through to October, and then starting to gain back in terms of momentum. But you can see this column here, the averages column, what you expect in each month, and we're in September, and it's a up a slight month, up 0.5%. October looking weak, down 1%, and then like I said, it picks up. November, December up nearly 2% each through, really, I suppose the hot season, the buying season there is really November through to, I'd say, the end of February. So we're also coming into that crucial period now, so another factor to add to that perfect storm. And using the Renko charts for some shorter term price action possibilities, got a block size of 2.5 here. Renko charts, one of my favourites. I'll put a playlist, well, I've got a playlist together on the YouTube channel that if you want to learn more about, you can work your way through. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. But in terms of short term price action, well, we're down in the short term. We've got negative momentum. Trend though still pretty strong, bullish. Like to include the volume by price again. We've got the scoop action going on again. Got a lot around that 61.8 key Fibonacci line, which is 222 in terms of price, so we could see it pull back to there. Maybe that's a bounce point for a buy-in. If it fails there, like I said, that scoop action takes it down to that next key Fibonacci line around 192. But we're thinking more bullish, so maybe this 78.6% line at 243 is the support before we see the bounce in. Short-term upsides 270, 304 and 322. So there you go, with the harvest coming to a conclusion, the coffee bean harvest that is coming to a conclusion in Brazil. Price action looking poised at the moment, pushing those highs, looking to go on, but has it got the momentum still? Is coffee going to become the 24-25 hot commodity play like cocoa was in 23-24? Love to hear your thoughts. Where do you think coffee prices are going next? What factors do you think are going to either get that price up to new record highs, or is it just going to stay where it is, or even retrace back down through those Fibonacci levels that I pointed out? Love to hear your thoughts. So if you like today's video, please give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons for future notification of content that I will be producing. It all helps the channel. And I also mentioned that if you are interested in the Renko charts, I put together a playlist, a free course on the channel. Work your way from top to bottom and you'll come out the other side a hero of the Renko charting world, and that playlist is coming up now.